What's good, African family? Welcome back to the African Wahala. So, we're going to be talking about a sensitive topic that affects a lot of African people, obviously, especially because it's religion. And it's quite unfortunate, but we know that religion has done so much damage to the minds of so many African people. And it's part of the reasons why they are under mind control and they just don't have the capacity to be revolutionary and get themselves out of the perpetual poverty that they find themselves in. So, we're going to be referencing one of the largest churches in Africa, Redeemed Christian Church of God. According to this article, it says Redeem is the third biggest church in Africa. Excuse me. Um, this article is old. It's from 2000 and a couple of years ago, so it might not be relevant information. But just so you know, Redeemed Christian Church of God is what we are referencing today, and what we are talking about is applicable to many other churches. Who are the faces behind Redeemed Christian Church? It's the third largest church in Africa, like I said, with a weekly attendance of 50,000 people in its main branch located in Lagos or in Ogun State, Nigeria. But across the world, it has millions of people that attends the church every single Sunday. Now, it's not supposed to be a problem if people choose to be religious because, I mean, everybody has his own right to his religious beliefs. But it becomes a problem when people refuse to use their brains any longer. And when their religious beliefs in large numbers become detrimental to the society. Like in this case, making reference to Pastor Enoch Adeboye, his son Leke, and another son, Adeolu. Listen to what Pastor Adeboye had to say in this clip from 2021.
Anyone who is not paying his tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop.
Anyone who is not paying his tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop. That's what he said in 2021. Now let's go to 2024.
I'm going to be apologizing for making a mistake, for saying that if you don't pay tithe, you might not make it to heaven. I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's not in the Bible. What the Bible says is, ye have peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see God. Now, let me tell you, listen to me. You know, it is possible to be right and wrong at the same time. I prove it to you. I mean, I'm a scientist, so I know that. For years, we taught that light travels in straight lines. Now, is that correct? At least those of you who know a little bit of physics will say, sure, but light doesn't bend at corners, it goes straight. But later on, we discovered it's not just not straight as a rod. Light travels in waves, going in one direction, but in waves. It is wrong to limit you to 10%. At a time when some of you should be 20%, 30%, 40%.
So basically, he's explaining here in this video from 2024 that he was wrong for saying what I just showed you in the first clip from 2021, that if you don't pay tithes, you're not going to heaven. Here he's saying, I was wrong. It's not in the Bible. However, you're encouraged to pay more than 10%. Right? So we're going to go forward again. I would share some other evidences, and I need you to keep this in mind. Okay, all these things that I'm sharing, it's so that we are building up to something. All right. So this is a clip from the African Wahala. So this is a tweet from 2016. He says, either the IMF likes it or not, I decree the Naira will rise again. It's one of the arrogance I personally detest from these religious people. They become so arrogant because they have a lot of people that worship them, that believe in them, and they believe that what they say, even though it's absolutely delusional and full of lies, the people are supposed to believe. And that's why he arrogantly said, either the IMF likes it or not, the International Monetary Fund, I decree that the Naira will rise again. That is arrogance. However, put the arrogance aside. This tweet did not age well. Between 2016 and 2024, the Naira has lost maybe 90% of its value. It's extremely horrible right now. But let's move on. Let's move forward. The same pastor in 2023, he says, the economy, so speaking about the economy, Naira will bounce back stronger than dollar very soon. But I want people to think about this. If you follow the history of Nigeria to any extent, you should already know that whenever the Naira value depletes, it never goes back to the original position. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, the Naira was equivalent to the pound, the British pound. There was a point where the Naira had more value than the US dollar, and it has been on a constant trajectory on a decline, losing its value ever since. There has never been a point where the Naira regained its value and became stronger than it was. Well, I could be wrong, but even when we had dips and troughs, as far as the trajectory of the Naira goes, there was never a significant period where the Naira regained its value or regained its value significantly. That never happened. So, based on logic and based on trajectory, based on historical facts, you should be able to tell that the Naira's value is not going to go back up. It's only going to continue regressing, just like every other currency of the world. Now, Adeboye takes it to another level. In this video, he explains something that you guys might have come across before, but I'll break it down.
Invited to Colorado in America in January. And I thank God that Bishop Mike was there too, who was invited. I don't like cold weather. I don't like it at all. That's why God made me a Nigerian. I don't like cold weather at all. So I pity those who want to run away from this beautiful weather where it is summer all year long and they want to go into. Congratulations. But I had to go to this meeting. It was very important. So I said to my father, I'm going to Colorado. While I am there, suspend winter. The witness here today. Throughout the days I was there, people were wearing t-shirts.
So basically, I showed you guys a couple of videos earlier where he contradicted himself, talking about pay tithes. Okay, I lied. We're not supposed to pay tithes. And then he came back again and said, oh, I command the Naira to rise in value. That never happened. Over the next 8 years after he commanded the Naira, it went on a constant trajectory of decline. And then he came back in 2023 and said, I command the Naira to rise again. And obviously, that never happened. Between 2023 and 2024, the value of the Naira depreciated by at least 70%. And then he comes back again with this one saying, I went to Colorado. I don't like winter. I told my father, that's his God, to suspend winter for me while I am in Colorado in the month of January. And my father suspended winter while I was in Colorado. Everybody had t shirts on because he's so special. God suspended winter for him. Now we are building onto something. Let's go to Adeboye's children. All right. Because they have mastered how to manipulate the people and it works. And that's exactly what we are pointing out in this video.
Good evening. So I have to quickly do this video so I won't waste your time. I'll waste mine. And
for quick context, this guy on the screen is one of the sons of Adeboye. Sorry, my bad. Let me put that on the screen one more time for you to see. This guy goes by the name Leke Adeboye. All right. He is one of Pastor Adeboye's sons, and he has this message for the people.
Loading can be 1 minute or less. First fruit increase, first fruit sacrifice, two different things. Okay. It's very simple. One is giving the increase that you get as an offering. So say you were being paid a salary of 500 naira last year, and by January 20 or any time throughout, it has become 501 naira. You give that 1 naira as your increase. You would tithe your regular 500 as it is, 10%, which would be 15 naira. But the one, you would just give it as an increase. That is the first fruit increase. Then the first fruit sacrifice, like Abraham did by putting Isaac up, is the whole January sacrifice. Yeah. Or your whole January income. Yeah. The whole thing. If it's a salary, by the way, because this is in different levels.
So you just heard from one of Adeboye's trainees. I'll call him a trainee because obviously he has learned the trade from his father. He's explaining to the people that, listen, when you get paid, you need to donate all that money to our church. Okay. Forget about the fact that we are billionaires and you guys are poor and you live in an extremely poor country, and we psychologically control you and tell you that just pray for your leaders. Okay. Pray for your leaders. Don't go out there to try to stop them from destroying your lives and your future and the future of your children. Just pray for them. Okay. At the same time, make sure that you donate the chicken change that you're making. And millions of people have been fully indoctrinated into believing this. Now, I'm going to show you one more video.
The problems our nation is facing is more than political. But our problem will require quite a bit of spiritual solution.
So in this video, he says the problem that Nigeria is facing is not only political, but it's also spiritual. Now, I'll be honest with you, there is a great possibility that Nigeria has spiritual problems. As a matter of fact, I believe it does, but it's not a charlatan. It's not a charlatan that will be in a position to tell me how Nigeria will be fixed, because he is already a part of the problem, if you ask me. Because if you have this much power, mind control over millions of people, I showed you earlier, this is the at least top 2, top 3 largest churches in Africa that has millions and millions and millions of followers, millions of people that would rather go to the church and quote unquote pray as opposed to marching towards the government houses that have refused to give them good lives, basic amenities, a prosperous future. They would rather follow people like this to a mountain and be praying for miracles and wonders to happen as opposed to doing the right thing. So it has become detrimental to the society when people have become extremely cowardly, hope, and the only hope that they have is in their men of God, then the society becomes toxic, unbearable. That's why when guys like Shore comes out and says, let's go out there to protest, let's stop these government guys from ruining our future, ruining the future of our kids, ruining our environment, selling us out to the cheapest, to the highest bidder. Today they sell us off to the United States, tomorrow it's the EU, the IMF, or China. Anybody that has money gets to take over us and make sure that we remain poverty stricken, confused, and at the bottom of the barrel. People like this that are billionaires, they come and spiritually, quote unquote, manipulate the people to believe that you don't need to go out there to fight against these people, just pray. So that is Adeboye. Now let's go to Adeboye's sons, his second son. I showed you guys earlier his first son. He goes by the name Leke Adeboye. Leke was just coercing his followers to, pay your offering. Although you're poor, you live in a poverty-stricken country. I am a billionaire. I have all the money that I need in life. I can take care of myself, my kids, my kids have a bright future. We have billions in our bank account. We're good. But you guys, regardless the fact that you live in the poverty capital of the world, you need to keep on donating your first salary. As a matter of fact, you need to donate the entire thing. Your first salary in the month of January, it belongs to us. Okay? Even though the father earlier had said, listen, it's against the doctrine. It's not in the Bible for you to tithe compulsorily. But at the same time, I encourage you to go out there and tithe and pay up to 30% if possible. Now, let's go to the Muslim side, just briefly, because we are talking about religion, and it's not only exclusive to the Christian folk, it also applies to the Muslim. You have the Sultan of Sokoto. The Sultan says here, pray for your leaders, no matter how bad they are. Don't curse or condemn them. The Sultan appeals to Nigerians amid economic hardship. So, this is exactly how religion plays a part in our perpetual downtroddenness. We're not going to be pretending in 2024 that countries like Nigeria is not a downtrodden society. It's not one of the abyss, one of the worst places that human beings found themselves in the world. It's a contraption. It's literally a contraption. It was put together by random people for their own benefit. And for some reason, Nigeria, after 125 years, refused to at least change that name because the name Nigeria was given to it by the people that created it for their own economic benefit and to the detriment of the inhabitants of the land. They refused to change that name for 125 years. And they keep on telling you, even though the country is making the people poor, destroying lives, making people hopeless, they keep on telling you, oh, you have to be proud of this country. I pray for your leaders when they are criminals, when they are drug dealers like we have now. Pray for them. Keep on praying for them. That's what is required of you. Will a poor, hungry man who is about to die, people are dying of starvation, would he have the energy to pray for a billionaire politician that ruined his life? I doubt it. But let's keep on going. Now we're going to be showcasing what is currently going on with the other son of Adeboye. He goes by the name Adeolu Adeboye. Adeolu Adeboye was recently caught up in some controversial situation because, in Nigeria, you need to have connections before you can get contracts and make money for yourself. So basically, you create a company, like in the case of Adeolu, this is Adeboye's son, created a company, called it a construction company with the influence and the power that they wield as a family. He's able to use his construction company to gain contracts from states, pretending like they're about to build roads and other infrastructure. So in this case, Adeolu decided to take billions And I'm just going to go ahead and read the story. Adeolu Adeboye was involved in a 17.26 billion government fraud after tagging Nigeria's problem as spiritual. In an exclusive report, Adeolu, the son of Adeboye, got 8.9 billion naira contract from Kaduna state government to construct an 8-kilometer road in Zaria by the Wusasa and Dan Magaji Nagoyi in September of 2020 to be completed January of 2021. They started the project, yet in December 2022, the contract was revised from 8.1 billion to 17.26 billion. But the company is called Ranches Global Resources PLC. And I can do a quick Google search to see what's going on with that company, Ranches Global PLC. Let's see what's going on with this company. So it's an actual company. See? They are into road construction according to their website. Once this populates, we can see what they do. They have their RC number, their registration number. They claim that they are building roads. They took beautiful pictures of roads from developed countries and put it on their website and pretend like these roads exist in Nigeria. No, they don't. These types of roads don't exist in Nigeria. This is Nigeria. Yes, I can tell. So this company is owned by Adeboye's son. All right. I just proved that to you now. Now, this company, according to the story, the Ranches Global Resources PLC, operated by Adeboye and his wife. I'm talking about Adeolu Adeboye, the son of Enoch Adeboye. They only did 30% of the project and abandoned it. Remember, they had collected 17.26 billion. The original budget was 8.19 billion. They revised it after a year to 17.26, about twice the amount. That became the current budget. But even after revising the amount, the job was completed at 30% and abandoned. So Kaduna government opened investigations and EFCC found evidence of fraud and criminal diversion of funds. The EFCC is another criminal organization, very corrupt. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, supposed to fight against money laundering and all types of financial corruption. But for the most part, it's not. It's just another corrupt institution in Nigeria, just like the others. Instead, he filed a petition in Lagos court seeking a restraining order compelling EFCC, Nigerian police, Kaduna House of Assembly, and Kaduna government to desist from arresting or detaining them until a later date when the investigation is complete. So Adeolu Adeboye filed a complaint to be protected, and he's definitely going to be protected. Remember whose family he's from. Very influential, very powerful. And in Nigeria, all you need to do is to become a powerful person, influential, highly connected, and the sky is the limit. The institutions are completely weak. They can't touch you. You are untouchable. Like what happened recently with Burna Boy. We all know the international superstar, Burna Boy. Very wealthy guy, very popular guy. Decided to use his power and his influence to arrest someone that was making defamatory comments towards him on the internet. Decided to use the police to arrest that guy. I mean, the guy made stupid comments without a doubt, but Burna Boy himself behaved like a typical, typical popular, powerful Nigerian. Because once you are powerful and popular in Nigeria and you have connects, you are above the law. You can easily arrest anybody that you don't like. You basically go to a police station, you pay them money, they arrest anybody you want without any court warrants, without any due process. That's how Nigeria works, okay? And this shouldn't be a surprise to people in 2024. Now, RCCG members, that's the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and pastor presently command a weak public reputation following their alleged involvement in politics and numerous other criminal cases linked with their pastor and members, ranging from corruption, tribalism, to human rights violation. So, with all of these said, how come people still have so much belief in this system, in these religious charlatans? How come? And if you notice the hustle, they are constantly hustling people for money. They are constantly on, oh, you need to donate money to us. You need to give us everything that you have. Even their friends, when their friends get paid, like Oyedepo recently got some gifts, very expensive vehicles in a poverty stricken country, people had to react that, bro, you already have tons of money. What are you doing with more money? Adeboye had to come to his defense because they all work together. They are in cahoots to keep the people's mind in control, to keep them from asking for emancipation from the mess that the society offers them, to remain in the perpetual state of poverty and weakness. That's how they get controlled. Listen to Adeboye briefly for about 1 minute defending Oyedepo because Oyedepo was criticized for having expensive vehicles as gifts. And I'll be honest, I don't blame Oyedepo for getting the gifts. After all, other people gave him the gift. But the fact that people love and worship these people to such an extent that they would go above and beyond, they would pay for whatever material thing. If it cost them an arm and a leg, they will pay for it and gift it to these people because they worship them. And such people in a large number, in millions, has become detrimental to us and has ensured that we remain poverty stricken, confused, and hopeless people.
You can dominate materially. In 3 John verse 2, 3 John, the only chapter, verse 2, it says, I wish above all things that you will prosper and be in health. It is the will of God above all things that you will prosper. The only thing I need to warn you about is that when you prosper, some people will be angry. You need to understand that. I understand that someone gave a bishop a car, and some people got very, very upset. And that how can a bishop be riding a Rolls Royce? As if once you are a bishop, you must die of hunger. Let me tell you, my beloved.
So, like I said, he's coming to the defense of Oyedepo with the expensive Rolls Royce vehicles. It's understandable. People are supposed to be upset in a hopeless country where poverty is rife. People people are literally dying of hunger. Their leaders live abroad because the society is a mess. Their president is currently and almost all the time in different European countries, from England to France to the United States, seeking medical care because there are no good hospitals in the country. Okay. But then the pastorpreneur charlatans come around and expect the people to remain this cowardly and hopeless. And this is one of the banes of the African Wahala. Religion. Religion is one of the tools that has been used to destroy the minds of African people, make them weak, and destroy every form of revolutionary mindset that they might have had. It's religion. I showed you quite a few evidences in this live stream. First off, the pastor contradicting himself. I'm talking about the father, the Enoch Adeboye, contradicted himself, came back and apologized. In the middle of the apology, still encouraging people to pay more money. It's not compulsory. It's not in the Bible for you to tithe. However, you are encouraged to pay even more than 10%. That was his apology. And of course, he has millions of worshippers. They will support him. Also, I showed you how he contradicted himself with a bunch of fake decrees, commanding the naira that has completely lost value, saying in 2016, saying that the naira, I command you to rise regardless of IMF stipulations. I command the naira to rise. That never happened. In 2023, he came back again, the same Adeboye. I command the naira to rise. That never happened. And then he came back again and said, I went to Colorado and then I prayed to my father. And that's why you see all these Nigerians, they literally worship Adeboye. If he sits down on a chair, they can kill themselves to go to get a turn to sit down on that chair. If he uses a glass cup, they can kill they will turn that glass cup into an idol. They would start worshiping the glass cup. Oh, our daddy drank water from this cup. If you drink water from this fountain of truth, you will be healed. Your life will you will be blessed. Adeboye's God will bless me. That's the mindset of his worshippers. And then I showed you his trainees, his two sons, at least two of them that we know. First one goes by the name Leke. Leke is out here after the father contradicted himself with the tight situation. Leke is out here talking about, oh, donate all your money. Please, your first fruit. You need to donate your January salary and any other increment to your salary. You have to donate it to us, regardless the fact that we are billionaires, regardless the fact that you are poverty stricken, you live in a poverty stricken, hopeless country. Forget about all that. Just donate your money to us and pray. All right. And then I showed you one of his other apprentices, a young pastorpreneur. This one literally was the criminal. Okay. It goes by the name Adeolu Adeboye. All right. Adeolu Adeboye took billions from the Kaduna state government to build roads and never completed roads. And like I said, because Nigeria is a criminogenic society where all the institutions are dead, okay? And Nigeria only has powerful people, people that are more powerful than the institutions. And these people that are more powerful than the institutions, for the most part, they fall into three categories. Number one, the politicians, their friends, their families, and their associates. Number two, the huge pastors and the huge imams, the religious leaders. For the most part, they work hand in hand with the politicians. So it makes sense that they are also in that category of people that are above the law, above the weak institutions. And then the third category are probably the religious leaders, the so-called traditional leaders. They work hand in hand with the politicians and sometimes with the religious leaders, and they become above the law, above the weak institutions, right? And they become untouchable. So I showed you quite a few things about the Adeboye's family. I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section. The first, their daddy constantly contradicting himself, has full mind control over the people. It's unfortunate. It makes the people extremely weak. They are unable to go out there to revolt against a system that has kept them in bondage and slavery. Then his two sons, Leke, constantly begging people for money. Oh, just give me money. God will bless you. Pray. And then the third son, literally involved in a criminal activity, took billions from the Kaduna state government for a road construction project with his own company called Runchis. This is the name of the company, Runchis. This is the registration number. They took 8 billion naira from the Kaduna state government, did not complete the project, and ran away, just like the Nigerian politicians do. Let me know what you think in the comment section about the Adeboyes and their legacy. I would give a final summation of what I think. I think the Adeboyes are detrimental to the society. These guys have made sure they have contributed to the docile nature of the Nigerian people that has made them have hope in the midst of hopelessness. Okay. And they deserve to be stopped. Peace and blessings.